Sure that gets started here. There we go. Yeah, and I would imagine at this point in the world of the last 2 years, most of you have probably been on a Teams meeting at some point in time or another. The links you got from Pierce, which was the invitation to the team, is really your master link. You're going to want to make sure that's bookmarked, because that's where you can come back and actually get to the file information. Basically, what you will be able to access, and I'll do a screen share here at the same time. Is if you get logged into Teams, either with the application on your phone, your tablet, or your computer, depending on what you're using, you have multiple ways to access, or just through the web portal, you're going to get to the Yaskawa Monday Morning BFD training team area. It's usually going to dump you to the posts, which is one of the areas where people can post questions. If you want to post a question to the entire group, you can do that here, or you can communicate directly. But then that information can be shared and used here. The files tab at the top here is where you're going to be able to go back and access all the different things we're going to be able to upload here. So all the previous Monday class videos that Pierce saved for uploading are here, that can be accessed at any time on any device. As he uploads additional technical information and things like that, we'll have folders and things like that for being able to keep this all in line. So this is really where that information is going to live and be accessible at any time.
So the link, Chad, that was sent with the invitation to join the team, which is separate from the invitation to come to the meeting, is what you want everybody to save so that they can access this file structure and get these videos at any time.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, and I will be putting up presentations as well. We have a file structure for that also. And I just need to upload those. All the presentations that I recorded are up there, and they're all in the 45-minute to an hour range, and they're all named based on a date, and whether it's the Yaskawa Monday or Wednesday class, and the subject matter as best as I could describe it. I will also be cross-loading the Wednesday classes to the Monday classes and the Monday classes to the Wednesday classes. They'll be in a separate folder, but you can browse those as well. I think that's going to be more relevant for the people on the Wednesday IQ Pump agricultural application class to see some of the general industrial subject matter. I don't know that there's going to be a lot of content from the ag class that you're going to be interested in, with the exception of the fact that we talk a lot in the ag class about things like harmonic distortion, submersible pump applications, which are quite problematic these days and require it's a dynamic situation as to what filters we're putting on those submersible pumps. So if you're doing any water utility market or industrial water pumping, the subject matter from the Wednesday class is going to be very relevant. The Wednesday class also includes several sessions on state-of-the-art pressure transducers and how to wire them to the drive effectively and troubleshoot them. And something that's very important that I will hopefully be able to hold a class for here is an industrial Internet of Things class on how to link the drive up through the internet so that you can access it on your phone. and use your phone or your PC or your tablet as an HMI to remotely monitor the drive, and in some cases where it's appropriate to also control the drive. So therefore you'd have a two-way communication to the drive. That industrial Internet of Things is a major opportunity for business, and it allows us to gain more revenue from existing customers, which is always easier than going out and getting new revenue from new customers. As an example, in the agricultural field, and this I think will apply in the industrial field as well, when we install a $50,000 pumping station, including a large VFD, it's typically in a location that's not easily accessible, and the client would like to be able to see that his crops are getting water, that there's a flow, what flow there is, how much money it's costing him, et cetera, et cetera. I know on my ranch, I would like to know when the flow through the main valve gets too high, because that tells me I've got leaks, and leaks can cost me $3,000. So the ability to see this and get notified automatically is child's play today on the internet. And we have that ability to add to the repertoire of products we sell associated with the Yaskawa product. It's based around the Banner wireless system, and typically I would use a cellular link as opposed to a radio link. So you can buy the Banner package and connect your phone, tablet, PC as the human machine interface, as the HMI, directly to the drive. And real time, with an update rate of sub-second to every 10 seconds, you can set that. This is something we'll talk about in more detail, because I believe that it has industrial application. And there are many people on this call who already know this. Along with the wireless capability, the link, and the graphical user interface that sits on the internet that becomes your screen on your device that you're using, your PC, tablet, smartphone. We can add other sensors like vibration sensors and temperature sensors and chemical sensors, and basically go out and touch every part of this system that you sold to the customer and monitor it and bring back data and alarms and there we go. Thank you, Chad.
You're welcome.
So this is the system that we sell in the agricultural arena. It has a solar panel on it, obviously. Doesn't need to have a solar panel. As I said, we'll talk about this in more detail, but right now you're talking about, to the customer, about $3,000 to get them all connected. That would be your sell price, or you could sell for whatever you want, obviously. But as a Banner integrator distributor, you would get pricing that would allow you to sell in that range, and that includes a couple of vibration sensors. These vibration sensors are, and all this equipment is easy to use. It's easier than assembling your child's bike at Christmas. The graphical user interface is already existing. You will have to get some programming savvy to change it, but we typically have some standard templates that are quite useful. No reason to reinvent the wheel. And the vibration sensors, for example, you stick them on the motor, you wire them up to the transmitter, which sends a radio signal back to the main hub that Chad was just showing you, or you can radio link them back to the main hub. So hardwire a radio link as a sub connection to the sensor. That sensor auto ranges itself. After X amount of time running in normal operation, it will basically set the thresholds on its own. And at that point, when it exceeds a threshold, say for high vibration, it will then send a signal back to the hub, which boosts it through the cellular network up to the graphical user interface. And when you log in with username and password, the way you do to so many applications on your phone, you will have all this data available to you. So it's a little bit small for me to see, but this is, what are you showing here, Chad?
The alert page. So
okay.
Kind of following along what you were talking about.
Yeah, and this is raw data. Obviously, we can make it a little bit more colorful with buttons and red flashing lights, etc., on your phone. But basically, the way, for me, I'll get a text when my flow goes above the level that I want it to go above for longer than the period of time that I want to allow it to go out. And I can avoid, at that point, I can send a signal back saying shut down the main valve. There's another application we're working on that I think will have a lot of efficacy, and that is I live on a lake, and during the Woolsey fire, almost 20 houses burned down on this lake. And when I moved in, I was thinking, how in the hell do you lose a house in a fire when you live on a lake? Turns out nobody has any infrastructure to suck water out of this lake. And people lost their houses because the fire department couldn't get to them. So I'm putting a sprinkler system on the leading edge of my house roof, and it's going to be piped down to a set of pumps that are battery operated, and because the power line goes out typically, so you want them to have a battery operated source also. And they're going to suck water out of the lake. And I'm going to be able to turn that sucker on with my cell phone. So the other thing, that the cell goes out here too, so I'm waiting for Starlink and Mr. Musk to provide service, and I will have a pretty bulletproof way of turning water on to shower my house when fires hit the area. This is the type of application that we're talking about for these banner devices. Your imagination is the limitation of what you'll be able to sell here. And the Internet of Things in 2022 is a fabulous way to bolster our revenue in the field that we're in. We're automation engineers. It's what we do. And the Internet of Things is the new field of automation. To speak to that point, I'm going to be very active this year in contacting and polling you for what you believe your forecasted business is going to be in 2022. And not so much to get you to pin down to a number or anything like that, because for my entire career, we've done number forecasting with a Ouija board. I don't know how many of you are old enough to know what a Ouija board is, but basically we took a wild ass guess and threw a number out there, or we asked the factory, what do you want to see? And that's what we sign up for. So forecasting, to me, I'm a little bit dubious of its value. The value to me of a forecasting discussion with my customers is to understand better how the resources at Western Automation, 6 very experienced senior fellows, can get out there and help you reach that goal. And we have a lot more power as the Escala rep this year than we did in previous years, because in previous years it was just Eric and I. And we now have a lot more people and a lot more experienced people. So we're going to make use of that tool to have a discussion with you. We may do it through this format. We may come and see you individually. But we're going to have this discussion because we want to understand how to better help you. And we realize that in the coming year, I hate to say this, but the shitstorm we're in isn't going to get any better. At least not for the first 6 months. Deliveries are going to be tough, and we're going to have to be managing. I call 2021 the year of running in circles. And I spent more time working on orders I had already booked than I spent on booking orders. Yet, for the life of me, my bookings, or our bookings at Western Automation, were up way double digits with the Escala. it was just a weird year. I need to get a better handle on how to deal with that so that I can maintain the revenue of everybody on this call, our channel partners and our OEM partners, throughout these difficult times. So these forecasting discussions are going to be more about just getting an understanding of how you see your priorities, where you're going to be spending your time, and how we can best help you. The person that just came on at the 424-329-3140 number, could you identify yourself, please?
Ken Rediker.
Hey, Ken. Happy New Year.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining. We're just having a general discussion here and getting used to Teams, the new environment, so thank you for coming on. We're right now talking about a little bit of forecasting and how I'm going to be contacting people, just not so much to get a number, but to find out how we can help you with all the resources we have available to us. We also have two very experienced people from the Yaskawa organization directly, Dan Peters, who is located in Irvine. His office is in the same building as the Yaskawa Moto Man office. And for those of you that were familiar with the Yaskawa Cypress office, that was closed and moved into the Yaskawa Moto Man office during COVID. And Larry Fuson, who is located out of Sacramento. Larry is the regional manager for the Yaskawa Drives division, and probably no more experienced guy I know in drives. So we have a lot of resources and we have a lot of opportunities. The closing session from last year was all about opportunities and the fact that it's a little bit weird right now, but sometimes I think that the best environment for good salespeople, especially those that are chartered with growth versus maintaining business, is chaos. We can grow business better in a chaotic situation than we can in a static situation. And boy, if you were wishing for chaos, you sure got your wish. That's what we're in 2022. So we hope to be smarter than the next guy in dealing with this current situation. And this new Teams approach is a smarter approach. It's a vast upgrade to what I was doing before. Thank you, Chad, for helping me get through it. Please make sure that you review the videos and we will continue to add to them. Chad, I have a question for you, since this is sort of a nuts and bolts discussion and I want to take advantage of your presence. Is there some way to auto admit people?
I'll look into that. I don't think so.
Okay. Because I'm afraid that if I'm involved on another screen or something, I might miss somebody. But all right, I'll just have to be diligent. Like there's Andy Justice. Morning, Andy, and thank you for coming. So we're not going to belabor the point today. This is more just a nuts and bolts, get everybody connected session. And to let you know that we're going to be coming and talking to you from all of us, whether it's Sasha Marcroft, Chad Christopher, Chris Omedian, Todd Price, myself, Eric Hodges, Mike Thompson, or Glenn Mihelich. We will be coming to talk to you in the next couple of weeks to get a better idea of how we can help you navigate the uncertain times that we are going to see in 2022. A little bit of an update from the factories. Everybody that I've talked to on the companies that I've represented for a long time has absolutely no frickin' idea what's going to happen in 2022. And I think that's normal. I think that's expected. The reality of it is that that's the chaotic issue that I'm talking about that makes this time have such a great potential for us to grow business. As I said in the session closing from last year, we have to be careful about how we select that business that we want to go after. We really don't want to go after the guys that we know are just going to use us until they can get back to their normal source. And I would say that's probably normally the Allen Bradley guys. The people that we want to change out and that we will accept business from have to be carefully selected because we have to protect our existing account base. And at Yaskawa and at Western Automation, that's very important to us. If you've been loyal to us and done business with us, that has value in these crazy times because we're going to get the product to you first. And we're going to work harder to get you the product than we are for someone who's coming in saying, hey, you know, sorry, I didn't do business with you before, but I want to do business with you now. So that almost should go without saying, but I think you need to understand that we've got your back. With that said, we are still limited significantly, and I think that delivery issues are going to get worse before they get better. The factory's trying to soft pedal that. I don't believe that soft pedaling is a good thing in most cases. I think I need to tell you straight up what the facts are. And the way I see it, the inventory levels are going down. We're still having a great deal of confusion in terms of sourcing parts. But there is some really bright news on the horizon. Yaskawa has invested literally thousands of engineering hours in re-engineering our bills of material for equivalent products. In many cases, Yaskawa had very strong vendor agreements with certain items, IGBTs, chips, where we source boards, that kind of thing. And we concentrated our business. We had first in line status with all of these companies. In many cases, they were building factories directly to serve our plants. And that served us well. But what we have found out in the COVID time is that a lot of these plants became choke points for us. So in order to get around it, and this is perhaps a temporary measure, but perhaps not, we have engineered second source for almost every critical component that is on our bill of materials. And that is starting to allow us to ease up the constrictions in our supply chain. So you will see that effect and that significant investment that Yaskawa has made, which I believe is a very responsible investment, start to come to pass, in my opinion, mid-year. It may happen sooner in certain products, but I don't want to be too optimistic because these are all long-term solutions. And yet they will make us much stronger moving into the future for COVID-2 or whatever else hits us in the face in 2023, 2024. So learn, get better, and move on. That's one of the bright things about it. The other bright thing about it is that we have increased our allocation out of every plant that's not in this country, and those flows will start to come in probably second quarter of this year, which again will affect our ability to supply you product by mid-year. So hang on, we're doing some very responsible things. We're spending money, in my opinion, in the right place. And Yaskawa is very focused on getting better at dealing with this current situation. We are somewhat embarrassed by not having a better handle on this. We feel that we should. If you remember the last tsunami that hit Japan and everybody was out of stuff, we did really well during that tsunami because we had our sourcing well diversified in terms of the chips that got wiped out when those wafer plants got wiped out in northern Japan. But in this one, it caught us. We were okay at first because we had $100 million of finished goods inventory, but now we're not much better than everybody else, to be frank with you. And I think where it is a little bit different, especially for those of you in the Southern California territory, is that you've got 6 guys who know how to pull strings and beat the system and get you a drive when you need it. But if you come to me with an order for 102 horsepower, 230 volt, 10 amp drives, I'm not going to be able to supply that from inventory the way we used to, and we're going to struggle on that one. So that's the state of things with Yaskawa. That's what we can expect, and we need to work within those boundaries. I am going to make a lot of use of channel inventory, and the message I'm putting out to channel right now is you cannot lose putting inventory in at this point. The amount of emergencies that I've seen through December with everything from a 1200 amp drive going down with Caston's customer to several 300 horsepower municipal drives that we could have gotten an order on that day, and it would have displaced Toshiba at a municipality that Toshiba has ruled for 20 years through the old Brithany organization. I mean, these kind of opportunities, they're there for the people who have inventory. So my message to you as Yaskawa and Western Automation is seriously consider that investment. I think it'll be a whole heck of a lot more return for you than anything else you could consider right now. Inventory is king. If you've got big drives, they will sell. Now, those of you that have large drives and you're worried about that sort of thing, we can publish those to the other members of our channel, because again, the way we've designed our channel system, people don't directly compete with each other. And as such, you can afford to be friends and help each other out. In the past, I want to be clear that we have asked our channel to take minimum margins when passing the drive from one channel to another. And that minimum margin, with the full transparency and disclosure, has been in the 12 to 15% range, which I think is very fair from the standpoint of the person with the inventory selling to the person without the inventory. But typically we were able to fill that from inventory at the factory. We were only overcoming the shipping delays, and the person with the inventory got the advantage that he bumped his warranty back up to zero, or bumped his warranty back down to zero. So that was a good situation. Hopefully when things calm down, we'll get back to that. Right now, I'm going to encourage channel to buy from channel when necessary, but I'm not going to ask that the channel sells at minimum margin, the holding channel sells at minimum margin. That's just not fair. The people that have gone out on a limb and put the inventory in deserve to get some return for it, because right now, if you got a 200 horsepower drive and you want to do a fellow channel a favor versus selling that drive at 30 points, yeah, you know, it's hard for me to ask that. I will leave that up to the two channels to negotiate, but we are not going to put any pressure on the holding channel to take minimum margin. Just make the drive available, and I will do my best to communicate this right now. We have some channels that have invested more than others, and I highly encourage all of you to take a good look at the I would like to see, especially in the GA 500s, a lot of inventory in the territory. We need those drives to win the new accounts as well as to satisfy some of our older accounts. There are those of you that play in the bigger horsepower drives, and I will recommend again that you cannot lose putting drives in stock. To put a fine point on it before I move on to the next subject, the largest distributor we have in the country is a company called Dykman, and that company just amazes me. We fortunately have kept them out of Southern California because we have such a good structure here in terms of our channel partners. But they exist pretty much everywhere else in the West, and they are double-digit millions with Yaskawa. They are Yaskawa's largest North America customer, and they move product like nobody's business. And the main reason they do is because they have inventory. Yes, their salespeople are prototypical, aggressive, hotshot business people. I think they've attracted these people because of their initial success, and their initial success was definitely based on the fact that they had inventory. Alan Dykman to this day stocks 5,000 horsepower motors. He's one of Toshiba's largest customers in terms of motors. So that model is a good one to follow. It should allow you to have a little bit of confidence and the ability to project to your management that these type of inventory investments right now are frankly the best thing we could do. Okay, so I would like to ask those of you that are on the meeting today to send me some suggestions as to what you would like to have me present on. I have vast resources available to me, and up until this point, I've been kind of soloing this. I would like to get other people involved this year and have some guest speakers. And now that I have teams, I have an ability to do that more efficiently with external people. So I'd like to hear some suggestions as to what you want to hear about. And it doesn't have to be drives. This is a platform where we can talk about a lot of things. If you want to talk about how to interface Yaskawa's VFDs to motion controllers or sophisticated machine controllers or just PLCs, send me a note. We'll spin up a class that has relevance to everybody and address that subject for you. That is the purpose. We want to make the content on this class in 2022 much more poignant, much more interesting, and much more professional. And to do that, since I'm a rank amateur at this sort of video thing, I'm going to be pulling in a lot of people like Chad to help me increase the effectiveness and the professionalism of what we present to you on this valuable hour that you give me on Monday mornings. So with respect to that, I'm going to end this class early because I really didn't prepare a subject. I just wanted everybody to kind of see that they could log in, get tuned in, and hopefully I'll reach out to some of the people that didn't make it today to make sure that they are able to make it in the future. As a reminder, please save that email that invited you to the team. I think you should also save the email that is the invitation to the Monday morning session, which is sort of a calendar item. But the email that Chad showed you earlier that invited you to the team is extremely important because that's your link to get to the file structure on Teams that shows all the videos that are recorded and all the associated presentations that are recorded from last year. And that's where I will be putting each and every one of these sessions moving forward. I do want to apologize for the fact that it was a pretty poor execution on my part with GoToMeeting. Maybe it was more operator error than anything else, but I was never able to really make these sessions available to you. I did record them. Proof that I recorded them is that they are now on Teams and they are available to you through that link. As I said earlier, and there's some people that came on late, so I'm going to repeat this. The file names are based on a date. 2021 1212 means 2021 December 12th. And then it is Yaskawa Monday or Yaskawa Wednesday class, and then the subject matter. I will make both classes available to both groups, and I will have the presentation material, PowerPoints, what have you, available on those file structures also. And Chad is showing you that structure now. This is where you will log into based on that team invitation that was sent to you. So with that, I think a vastly improved quality content and basically operational structure for the class. I'm really looking forward to it. Again, thank you, Chad. You were very patient with me. And
yeah, no problem, Pierce. Before you cut him off, I do have a couple things I want to add.
Absolutely, please.
So one of the things that we had mentioned was the posting capability here. You should be able to, you should be getting notified when somebody posts on here. This is actually a format where you could post a question to the entire group. Pierce and I will see it. Everybody at WAI would see it. it could literally be as something as like Pierce was just saying, is, hey, does anybody have access to a GA800 XYZ because we're dying to find one? We can use this as a quick way to respond or get that information. I believe you would want to go into your little edit box here. Let's see, where is it up here? Your channel notifications. You'd want to make sure you're getting notifications for information that's getting here. I've got mine customized a little bit, but I would recommend all activity. That way, if somebody posts a question or Pierce uploads something new, or there's some other change or message that goes out here, it's going to automatically come out to everybody. So it's the easiest way to keep this entire group on the same page for communications. And I did post just a quick welcome message there. It would be great if you can get in there, and if you're able to access everything and things look good, to actually reply to that. A couple other things you could do is, if you did want to specifically ping someone in the group, you would actually use an @ mention, I guess similar to Twitter. I'm sure this is a really big Twitter group, but you would be able to come in here and say, I wanted to get something right to Pierce. I could come, right there, or if I wanted to send something right to Danny and ping him specifically. So anybody that's already on this team is going to be here. So those are the couple things I wanted to add. And if there's any questions, reach out. You can post here if you're getting in. If you're not getting in, email Pierce and I, and we will definitely get you sorted out. The other thing that's nice with this is this entire system's built up around fast video meetings. So if you do have an application question or something else, we can just jump on here at any time and immediately do a fast meeting. So it allows us to keep in touch with you guys as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Chad. And you brought something up that I had forgotten to bring up, but I did talk about it a little bit on the email that I sent out to ask you to come to this Teams meeting. This platform will be used by myself and everybody else at Western Automation to support you in the field when we can't get there in person. Extremely important capability. I'm going to be able to see your Drive Wizard screen and be able to operate that screen remotely. So from a technical help standpoint, this is a huge improvement on our ability to help you out in the field, on the spot, at the time that you need us. So the other thing I would like to mention more of, I've been hearing this from several people, including Chad, as things change, it looks like this type of, shall we say, group, team, whatever you want to call it, is going to communicate on specific subjects that we've joined together for, and replace a lot of general email traffic. This will be an alternate path to email. And I've had several people tell me that email is going to become obsolete, and that most of the communications will be done in groups like this. We'll see.
Hey, Pierce.
Yes.
So here's a training moment for you. Danny Roberts has got his hand up. He's got a question.
Oh, thanks. I did not see that. I got to look now. Now what do I do? What do you want, Dan?
Well, just for clarification, you actually have to click on that open Teams icon on that Teams invite to access the area where you can accept the invitation. So at the bottom of the email or the top, it says open Microsoft Teams. You have to click on that to get to actually accept your guys' invitation to join WAI.com.
Yeah,
team.
Look, giving the number of people that looks like they've joined so far, there's a lot of guys that haven't gotten that far yet.
I just joined, but I couldn't actually switch over without canceling this call.
Chad, one more time on that one. I didn't quite understand that.
Let's see if there's an easy. Basically, on the invite, you have to accept the invitation. So that email that comes out and says, "Hey, you've been added to a team," they need to follow the click through and basically kind of confirm that has happened. And
Okay.
like I said, I can see the number of people that have joined and already and things like that. So we definitely got to go out and poke a few people today.
So is that the difference between Brad Kinney, who's showing up as a guest, versus Alejandro Salazar, who's showing up as external?
No, that's just the way that it's kind of the way that the system's going. This could be shared with other people. The invite could have been shared with other people because we kind of have it open. So there could be people coming in here that aren't showing up through the normal invitation process that we did.
So basically what we're saying is if you don't click through on that Teams invitation, you can't access that area that you were showing with all the videos, et cetera. And then perhaps you'll be limited on some of the other features that were that are available on Teams.
Yeah, that's precisely it. If you get the meeting invite, you can attend the meeting, but you're not actually accessing the team. So you want to make sure you follow through and get to that team invite.
Okay. Well, I'll send out an email for those that weren't able to make it today to make sure that they do that. And you know, one thing I noticed here is that when you raise your hand, you come up to the top of the list. Good, because the list is pretty long and it doesn't show up entirely on my screen. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Danny.
Demonstrating.
So good. Any other questions or comments that we have for the new venue? Very good. Well, again, thank you for your participation last year, and we will do everything we can to make your participation more rewarding this year. We're getting better at it. We're improving. This proves you can teach old dogs new tricks. Again, thanks to Chad, invaluable to helping me get this to be a better platform, and we'll explore what we can do with it in the coming year. So thank you very much. It's 7:44 and it's time to go to work. Thank you very much, and we'll have a happy new year with you in the coming 2022.
Thanks, Pierce.
Bye now.
Thanks, Pierce. Happy New Year.
Thanks, Pierce.